Hi all, welcome to session 4 of our project, and in this session we are going to build the logic where the pipeline will pick the right file from the SFTP location based on the day of the week on which it is getting executed. Okay, so let's get started. So far we have created a copy data activity, we have parameterized it. Okay, so after this what we have to do, we have to generate the logic where we are going to see the date, and based on date we are going to find out which day of the week it is, and then check the ingestion date. Okay, so i have I have this orders.csv with me. I will share the link, but this is what we are going to use in our future sessions. And right now I'm going to just work on the if condition, so we do not need this, but I'm going to share this so that we can use it in the future sessions. Okay, I think I have to first stop the VM because we do not need it. Cool. Now we have to first get the today's date, so we are going to use set variable activity, and in the set variable I'm going to say set current date. Okay, here I'm going to define a new variable, and the variable name will be current date. Okay, after this we have to define a function that will give us the current date. So there are various date functions that are provided in the data factory, but I am going to use utcNow. Okay, we are simply going to use utcNow, and let me run the pipeline. But before that, let me disable this activity, copy activity. We do not need to execute this activity for this session, so I am disabling it, and I also am giving some dummy values to our parameters so that they don't bother us every time we run a debug. Okay, dummy, simply putting everywhere. Cool. Okay, now if we run debug, as you can see, it is succeeded and it has given you a date. Okay, and now in the next step we are going to convert this date into ist, because this is utc time zone. Okay, we have to convert it into ist, Indian standard time. So for that, let me just use another function, which is time zone conversion function. So in the date function, if you come down, you will have convert time zone. So in convert time zone, you have to pass three parameters. One is your timestamp. Then if you just hover on it, you will get that. Okay, so here if you see, you have to pass three, and the second is going to be your source time zone, and then after that you will have the conversion time zone. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply say I'm converting from UTC time zone to India standard time. Okay, and if you want to know where did I get these values, so I am going to say ADF function documentation, and if you go here, come down, you have date functions. Okay, I will add the link to the video description so that you can go ahead and check. So if you go to convert time zone and click on it, you get all these things like source time zone, destination time zone. So in the destination time zone, if you go to Microsoft time zone values, you get the time zone values here. So I am going for India, so let me just quickly search. So for India, the value is India standard time, so that is what I have entered here. Okay, now we are expecting the Indian time to come in our variable. Let me just debug one more time. So in the first step, what we did, we got a timestamp by using utcNow function, and after that we converted the timestamp that we got from the utcNow by using convertTimeZone function into our Indian time zone. Okay. Now if you see the time, it is giving 12:02, that is our time. Okay, fine. After this, what we have to do, we have to convert this time to day of the week. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do is we are going to add another variable. So I'm going to use set variable one more time. I'm making this pipeline simple. There are a lot of steps that we can do like in one activity also, but just for sake of understanding, I'm adding extra steps. So get day of the week, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to define a new variable with the integer type. I think, let me quickly do it. I accidentally put string type, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to use another date function, day of the week. Day of week, I'm going to pass variable, and okay, let me change it. We'll see why this warning is coming, but let me just put day of the week first. Sorry, let me remove it. Variables, current date, and let's debug. And you get day of the week as 6 because it is Saturday. Okay, so for Sunday the value is 0, for Monday it is 1, and so on and so forth. So for Saturday it is 6. Okay, now in the next step what we are going to do, so we created the current date by using our utcNow and convert time zone function. After that we got the day of the week using the day of the week function, and in the next step I'm going to use if condition, and I'm going to say set ingestion date as the name of the activity. In the activity I'm going to use equal operator. Equal is a relational operator, so I'm going to use logical functions. In this you have equal function, and here I'm going to pass variable day of the week, and I'm going to say whether it is Monday or not. So in case if it is Monday, then I'm going to set variable current date minus 2, that is Saturday. Okay, so here I'm going to say ingestion date, and in the ingestion date I'm going to use a date function, addDays, this function. Okay, So here I am going to pass my current date and I am going to subtract 2 days from it. So suppose you are running this pipeline on 6th, on the 29th of April, then you are going to remove 28 and you are going to get you are going to remove 29, 28 and you are going to get 27. Okay, so that is how it is going to work. And if it is not Monday, so it is Saturday, set Saturday. And if it is not set Monday, then we have to set the yesterday's date. So again, I'm going to use set variable, set yesterday, and I'm going to use ingestion date and same function, add days. You will not get anything like subtract days. In order to subtract, you just have to use minus operator. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to use current date and I'm going to subtract. That is why I'm saying -1. Okay, I'm going to click OK. Fine. So let me just make it a little bigger so that we can see. Fine. So in the pipeline, we have done 3 steps. In the first step, we are setting the current date. After that, using current date, we are getting day of the week. And then based on the day of the week, we are setting ingestion date. Okay. Let me do a debug and let's see what happens. Okay. So as you can see, because it is Saturday, it is setting yesterday's date. So I'm getting 2024-04-26. Okay. And if it was Monday, so let me just do that. In the set current date, I'm going to just add 2 more days. So I'm going to say add days, utcNow. Okay. And let's try. So what I have done, today's UTC date, I have just added 2 days to it. So it will give me 1 day's date. So if you see, it is giving me 29th April. So it is setting for Saturday. So that is why you have set Saturday activity activated and it is setting 27th. That is today's date. So our logic is working as expected. Let me just remove that expression. Fine. Now the last part is we do not want timestamp in our date. So here if you see you have time also. I don't want time. So I need only the date. Okay. So in our set variable, we will just add one extra step. We will use another function, that is formatDateTime. Okay. So here if you go to functions, date function, you have formatDateTime. So I'm simply going to add formatDateTime and I'm going to use YYYYMMDD. So for format date time also we have the documentation. If you come to this page and if you search for format date time, so you have this format date time utcNow YYYYDDMM. So let me do that. So Y will be small, DD. So this is for day. So I'm going to say MMDD. So first 4 Y's are going to give you year in numbers. Then next 2 will give you month in numbers. And after that you will get date. Okay. So this is I'm going to copy and put it in our another set variable activity. So this is for set Saturday. I'm going to use the same thing in our set yesterday activity as well. So just for sake of practice, I'm going to not use the copy. I'm going to say format date time, and here I'm going to use that same expression y mm dd and click OK. Fine. Let's do a debug. Now we should get only the date in our date variable. We should not get any timestamp. So if you see, we are only getting date. Okay. So we are now ready with this logic as well. So we created an SFTP location using VM. We created a copy activity that will copy files from SFTP location into data lake, and then we created logic where we are checking which day of the week it is, and based on that we will define which file to ingest. Okay, so we have used set variable activity, we have used if condition. Okay, other than that we used couple of date functions. So we used utcNow, we used convertTimeZone, we used day of the week, we used addDays, we used formatDateTime. Okay, what else? We used equals function. So these were the date functions, and this was the logical function. Okay, I will put all this into our description so that you guys can refer it. Okay, with this we are ready with our first step. So our first step is complete. Now we just have to integrate the copy activity with this and get the files in our data lake. That will be happening in session 5. Okay, so this is how we are going to build pipeline step by step. And do not shy away from taking help of documentation, because most of the developers do that way. Like, by just practicing and practicing you get used to the syntax, and that is how you remember things. But when you are a beginner, it is very good practice to go and check the documentation and perform your operations in the pipeline. Okay, so I am done with my publish. This pipeline is now ready. Okay, so that was all for today's session. I will put all the materials in the video description so that you guys can refer it and make your own pipeline. And let's meet in the next session. I hope you liked my session, and please like, share and subscribe, and let me know your feedback in the comment section.